The church has always been an environment where we cover up and certain conversations are taboo to talk about. Beyond the Platform is going to be a safe place where we air it out and discuss things that many don't want to discuss but are necessary. But I do need to make one thing clear. This is not church. We're going beyond the platform. We're going to talk about it all. I hope you guys are ready.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Beyond the Platform Welcome to the Beyond the Platform podcast, the place where we air out what many don't want to talk about. I am your host, Dewan Kelker. This is my first podcast, and so we are looking for your support. I practiced that line for about 30 minutes before, and I still got it wrong. So this is my first podcast tonight. We're gonna have a couple of issues. It's our first one, so we may have a few glitches or whatever it is, but just bear with us because we're gonna get this thing together at least by week 14. Okay, this is my first podcast, so I'm really looking for your support. If you can, go to YouTube and Facebook, look up Beyond the Platform podcast, like, share, and subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. Tonight, I'm going to randomly pick 3 people who like, share, and subscribe and comment with your Cash App on YouTube. I'm going to give you a $50 gift tonight, okay? If you are on Facebook, we ask that you share. Hit that share button right now. Hit that share button. Let's get it out there and let people know that we are talking. Tonight's show is a special Monday night debut. But moving forward, the Beyond the Platform podcast is going to air every other Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on all platforms. So make sure you tune in and engage. With that being said, tonight's podcast, you'll be able to ask questions, submit your questions. We're going to take a few minutes towards the end and answer them the best we can. So please get your questions submitted once we begin our dialogue so that you can be engaged. Yes, we want you to engage. Tonight is a special kickoff podcast because I get to hang out with a couple of my friends. We gonna get together tonight and talk about it a little bit. My first guest, the first person I want to introduce you to or present to you is Pastor Brendan Glass from Span Ministries. It is good to have you here, man. How you doing?
I'm excited. Ready to have some fun with my guys.
All right. Well, we happy you here, man. And we about to get down. And my next guest, my next friend, we have Bishop Elect Maceo Smith, who oversees City of Joy Life Enrichment Center. First off, congrats to you for your advancement and what God is doing in your elevation. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. It's a little pressure here tonight, but I'm doing good, and I'm excited about what the Lord is going to do.
Oh my God! Here we go. So well, tonight we're gonna kind of air it out a little bit. Can we do that? Can we? Tonight, I want to. My motivation for tonight was conceived from the concept or the narrative of people not being able to hear the leader's perspective as it relates to the pressure of the platform.
Yes.
Nobody knows pretty much what we go through unless we talk about it, which a lot of times we don't talk about it. Nobody really knows what we go through, what we deal with as leaders, as pastors, as public figures. The day-to-day things we deal with dealing with people in the church on a regular basis, dealing with the challenges and the pressure of making sure that when we get up there in the pulpit every Sunday or Wednesday, however you do it, every time we get before people, we have the pressure of making sure hundreds and for some thousands of people agree with every word that come out of our mouth.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what it takes to deal with the personalities or the attitudes of people in the church. We always hear about bad leadership, but no one ever has the conversation about bad membership.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we gonna talk. On top of that, outside of the church, the things that we deal with, uh, 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 beyond the platform,
Mhm.
outside of the pulpit, nobody really understands some of the pressures that it takes to be public figures or to be pastors. So tonight's episode is kind of just talking about that, kind of talking about what some of the pressures of your platform. I know for me, for years, me and my wife, we've always had to be careful with what we things we purchase. This is just something we went through, right? When it comes to buying stuff and doing stuff, we always had to be careful, hide stuff that we buy because we didn't want to deal with the stigma of that's the church's money. You know, for years we've been this way. I mean, since we started ministry, it's like we kind of was like taught that. Like you got to be careful this, careful that, because you don't want people. And we always had that in our mind, like whatever we buy, we gotta be. Maybe we shouldn't show this. Don't wear this on Sunday. You just wear it when we go out because they gonna think it's the, you know. And I
Right.
mean, we didn't take a salary for like 17 years. We did our own thing. We got our own money. We've been doing our own thing for a long time. But it was like whatever we did, we just had to cover it when we go places. You know, we got to make sure. Oh, I hope they don't think we're doing this. And then forget the fact that we didn't even purchase a house until after we bought two churches,
Yes, sir.
bought and renovated two churches, and they wasn't cheap churches, you know. But we still had to deal with people talking about us. And when I finally got to a point to where I was tired of apologizing for my blessings, and I started showing stuff, we did get attacked. We did go through it. People was making stuff, talking about us, making statuses about us, saying little stuff. Y'all pastor spending all that money, doing all that time. We went through a lot of stuff, man. I have this antagonist, right? This I can't say their name because their name is Jane or John Doe. And what they do every time I make a status, y'all have seen it before. Every time I make a status that's debatable and people get to debating, or I say how I feel, or I try to have a transparent moment on social media because we try to roll with this whole transparency thing. So when I try to have a transparent moment, I'll put a post up, and then what happens is about 3 o'clock in the morning, someone makes a Facebook page and they comment something negative on the status. They'll just get on there and check me. Like, you sorry, you this or you
This is
that.
hilarious.
And they'll go and check me, but they'll wait till like 3 o'clock in the morning while we sleep so that nobody see it till the morning, and they post can stay up the whole. I stopped deleting them. I just left it on there, and I stopped arguing with them too because I used to do that too. But I stopped
Yeah.
deleting them, man. I just said I'm gonna just leave it on there. But we got these people who just love to attack us when we say anything that's debatable, and they just go in and just let me have it on my post. So I start leaving them up there and let people see. But this is this is some of the stuff that we deal with, just the pressure of the platform. This is just something, and nobody really gets to hear our side of the story.
No.
It's almost like whenever we deal with anything in the church, you always hear the people who got a problem side, but you never hear our side. And that's kind of like the motivation for this show tonight. I just want to share some of the stuff we go through, some of the stuff we feel, some of the ways we feel, and we're not trying to offend no one. And I mean, tonight is beyond the platform, so I don't really care. We just gonna say what it is.
This ain't church, huh?
This ain't church. This ain't church. Man. We at my apartment hanging out, and we about to just talk. So first, let me ask you, man, what's some of the pressures of your platform?
Well, I have many, based on the fact of how we grew up in church, and I think many times we have pressures that go beyond the platform due to the fact we can't always show our real personality, because if, like you mentioned, how the Lord bless you and you want to do something, you want to have something, many times we hesitate on living because we're concerned about what someone may think or say. So I think many times from my standpoint, the pressure always is how much, because they say they want transparency,
Right.
but how much do they really want to see, who we really are, and it's a hesitation, and for all those people online right now who say, well, that's just being phony. No, it's not. Let's just Let's just bind that spirit now. It's not being phony.
Man,
It's just a part of the position. You know what I mean? It's a part of the position because some excuse me, somebody can come to us and have an issue, and we're to forgive them, we're to walk with them, we're to understand. We're the most understanding people in the world. But when it comes to us, it's like it's such a small level of understanding.
Right.
And many times people want us to fit in a certain box and do a certain thing and live a certain way. Of course, we love the Lord. Of course, we actually love you as members. But at the same time, there's just some pressure just always around to be something that is so unrealistic that it causes stress. It causes stress because like evangelists, they can have 10 sermons and preach all over the world. YouTube kind of mess it up a little bit, but they'll change their topic up a little bit because you don't listen to the whole sermon anyway. You just go to the part where they closing. But evangelists can have 10 sermons, preach all over the world, no problem. But the pressure that we face is we got to preach multiple times a week sometimes, or at least once a week to the same exact people.
Right.
And it got to be good every single time. So I know sometimes one time somebody came to me and I wasn't that, I wasn't my normal. They felt it wasn't as good. But my mom say the Bible.
That's how they felt.
Yeah, no. My mom say the Bible though. So but it wasn't on the same level as what they are accustomed to per se, right? And in my mind, I'm like, man, I could have done better. And they walk up and say, Pastor, are you okay?
Yeah.
This wasn't like your normal. They get to just clown us for not preaching as good as what they want. But that's pressure.
Or like we'd call each other like, man, I bombed today, man. I bombed.
We are hardest on ourselves. We don't need y'all to tell us.
I don't need you to tell me that I didn't preach good today. I promise you, I tried.
My people just be like, it was good today. Lady K be like, it wasn't your best.
Yeah.
She just, I'll be like, oh.
Are you tired? You need some rest?
Right.
So, we got a lot of pressures, but, I just think the struggle for me, especially in being a founder and starting from nothing, is just how much can we take without taking breaks? That's a pressure. And I don't want to jump around too much, but, those are some of the pressures that I'm dealing with. So.
All right. Glass, what's some of your pressures? What's some of the pressures of your platform?
Man, so many in 20 years of ministry.
Right.
Oh, you're the elder statesman.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You've been.
No.
Yeah. You gave me the
With
game.
us?
Yeah, you gave me the game.
I didn't give you the game.
You did.
You started before we even knew each other.
No, but you sure helped me because you paid away. You was the first young pastor to do it out here.
I was one of the young ones.
Yeah.
Longevity is a good thing.
Kent State.
Yeah, started Kent State University on campus, sometimes outside, sometimes in the parking lots.
Can you hear him? Can y'all hear him pretty good?
Am I talking too low? All right, people always criticize me for my podcast. Night.
Very well. I'll take
No,
good care
sir.
of you.
Oh, got to lift it up a little bit. All right, here we go. Is that better? All right. Pressure in this season. So, y'all remember? Have y'all ever seen the circus act, or Cirque du Soleil, or Soul Circus, where the girl is spinning plates?
Yes.
You're with the hands, and one with the foot, and one on the kneecap, and one on their chin, and they just got to keep them spinning. And if they make one mistake, the plate's gonna fall, and subsequently they're gonna mess up the whole thing.
Right.
And that's how I feel almost every morning when I wake up in the morning. As pastors, we have so many plates that we have to maintain and keep spinning. We got the preaching plate, like you're talking about, the social media plate. We got to make sure we present ourselves well. The family plate. We got to make sure our family's good, because the moment something's wrong with our families, people looking at us like, "What's wrong with you? Are you really saved? Are you really in your
How you going to church? You can't even take care of your own home.
Church, all this other stuff." And then just the presentation and the hard one is the how not to get canceled plate that we have to keep spinning,
right.
Especially in this time right now. We have to make sure, like you said earlier, we are speaking in a way that it hits everyone, offends no one, to the extent that everyone can walk out feeling like you talk to me, but you ain't talk about me. Like, you did not make me mad. You didn't make me upset. And that's just 4 or 5 of the plates that we wake up in the morning thinking, I got to maintain all this particular stuff. We ain't talk about church finances. We ain't talking about leadership issues. We ain't talk about leadership cohesion. All of this stuff is pressure, which is why, pastors are dropping like flies in this season.
Yeah. Quitting, giving up.
They say
Yeah.
that the Assemblies of God is probably going to lose 25% of churches, 25% of pastors in next year.
Oh wow, really?
25%.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, but I'll leave that alone. I was gonna say something about that, but I'm gonna leave that alone so I can at least make it through the first show. So I'm gonna touch a sensitive topic, okay?
Sure.
And this is something that very controversial. I'm gonna tell y'all now. I'm giving you a disclaimer right now. Few people, I got a piece of lint. See that lint right there? See that lint right there? I don't like it. See that lint? Can you grab that for me? See? Yeah,
See, that's pressure.
y'all pray for me. See the pressure? Y'all was judging me right now because of that
Right.
lint. Y'all was like, how he gonna tell us something with that lint on him? So listen, I'm gonna touch something very. That's Terry coughing. I'm gonna touch something very controversial. Okay,
Come on.
I'm gonna say it and listen. A lot of people don't talk about this. I already prepped y'all for it because I'm gonna make sure they want to be on the show before we talk about this. But I want to talk about church hurt. Very sensitive subject.
Yes.
But when it comes to this church hurt thing, no one ever really gets to hear our perspective of church hurt. Now some people agree. I believe a person could be hurt by people in the church.
Yes, sir.
I don't doubt that. I'm just not in agreement with the whole overall concept of what you call it.
Mm-hmm.
Church hurt. Why can't you say somebody hurt me that went to this church?
Yes, sir.
Because I've never heard a discussion about work hurt.
Mm.
And you mad at
Good.
your supervisor all the time. You mad at your coworker all the time. They'll lay you off for a couple of days, write you up, but you still go back. You still don't, but this whole church hurt concept, I personally, and I'm not saying you can't be hurt by the church, by someone in the church, but I personally think that it's an excuse. And I know I'm about to get attacked for this, but I think it's an excuse. And most pastors don't want to talk about it. But when they say church hurt, they're not talking about the mother that rolled their eyes at them in the front row. You have some people that's that shallow. It's like she rolled her eyes at me. They ain't talking to me. They act funny.
Mm-hmm.
But when they say church hurt, they talk about the leadership, man.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I mean, just tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all can comment on that if y'all think you talking about leadership when you say church hurt. It's something we done to you, or you think we done to you, or something we didn't do for you, and that's why you really going hard with this church hurt. People leave your church mad. They leave your church for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like the number one excuse is they hurt my feelings.
They hurt my feelings.
He didn't do something that he did me wrong. He did this. He did that. I mean, I had people, they attack me for all type of reasons. This is what it is. But I've had I deleted some people off Facebook, man, and it turned into this whole church hurt thing. Like I did them so wrong, and I kicked them out of the church just because I deleted them
because of Facebook.
I saw something I ain't like, and you never corrected it, and I just got rid of them off Facebook, and it turned into this big church hurt thing. So talk to me, man.
Well, let me jump in this church hurt because I definitely agree that people can be hurt by people in the church.
Right.
I agree because you can be hurt by anybody anywhere. But and I'm gonna make it light. But church hurt to me is you were walking to the bathroom and the carpet was messed up and you tripped and broke your ankle. That's where the church actually hurt you. Or a piece of the ceiling fell down while you were in pure worship and you were speaking in tongues and it came down and hit you in the face. That's the church hurting you. Okay. But it's people who hurt you in the church. I know they're going to kill me. But it's people who hurt you in the church the same way. And then it's like McDonald's got hurt. They fries be soggy, but you go back the next day. Like, I think even like when we look at the job piece, how you have job hurt, somebody at the job mistreated you, whatever, you go back because you feel there's a benefit, right? You go back because you get paid. You go back because of some type of benefit. So my thing is with church hurt, if someone at this church does cause you pain, which happens,
right?
Why do we shun the entire body of Christ altogether?
Right.
Why not search for another place that could fit? Find a good place that could fit. And then people are really, really get offended really easy when it comes to us.
Mm-hmm.
You could preach an hour sermon and say a 20-second sentence, and that can offend someone so much that they don't hear nothing else that was said. They think you're talking about them when. Oh, I had a lady say real quick. I had a lady say she didn't come to church for a while, and somebody said, "Hey, we miss you at City of Joy. Where you been?" She said, "I never go back to that church." You know how they get, right? They say, "Why?" Because the pastor was talking about me. He was telling everybody my business on stage. Mind you, I don't know the lady.
Right.
But what camera should I look at? The Holy Spirit can reveal things to the man or woman of God, and the Holy Spirit can speak. And instead of being offended, you should give God praise that He reveals something for you to help yourself.
Yeah.
So church hurt is for real. I mean, you can be hurt. Sometimes a pastor can make a mistake. Sometimes an usher can make a mistake. Sometimes people are mean and nasty. It happens. But we people though.
I don't agree with the name. I hate.
It's
the name.
people hurting.
I hate the term. I
People
just
hate
don't. It's people hurt.
Yes.
It's
Your mama hurt.
Yeah, it's people hurting your feelings.
Daddy hurt.
It just happened to be at church. You get hurt everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
But it's easy.
It's easy to blame.
Easy to blame the church. I mean, and at the end of the day, whenever we are looking for a target, we're looking for the easiest one.
Right.
And the church is the easy target. Why? Because we're not supposed to bite back.
Yes, sir.
We're not supposed to.
Right.
So you are, and if we do bite back, now that's more of a criticism against you that justifies my position in the first place, which is what makes it so difficult right now to pastor in these days, because we are not intentionally trying to hurt people. No, we are unintentional hurts happen. And unfortunately, we now have to start teaching that in our new members class. Unfortunate hurts happen, and this is how you deal with them, because we just don't teach that in our society anymore. We don't teach people how to deal with their pain. We don't teach people how to suffer. We don't teach people how to go through stuff, and we don't teach people how to not so quickly write stuff off.
Look, I can submit to you right now. I submit to everyone right now under the sound of my voice. I submit to you right now. If this is the narrative, then Pastor Kelker has been church hurt in his own church.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The pastor gets
Come on,
hurt.
man.
Can we be church hurt too?
Yeah.
Because you church people
Yeah.
stress me out too.
How about this? Beyond the platform and pressures that we deal with is we actually love y'all.
That's the crazy part.
We
That's the
actually
part.
have
That's the crazy part.
a heart for these people.
Right.
We love them. We praying for them. We there for you. We want to see you do well. We want to see God take off in your life. And then it's
There he
just
is, him crawling like
oh, he's crawling on the
he
ground.
crawling behind us. And
Oh,
nobody
okay.
seen
Nobody
this
can
is
see.
so-
You're doing real
I
good.
just
That's
heard
podcast
I just
hurt.
heard something crawling.
Yeah. Yeah.
He ain't never come back to help with the podcast. He like, man, I ain't on the staff no more.
Glass talking too soft, man. Don't invite him back no more.
Like, let me crawl under this couch and push Glass's mic. This is so
I'll
funny.
slide down a little bit.
Okay, he said
I'll
this
just
so
slouch.
But I just, we hurt too.
Yeah.
You were saying that.
Yeah, and I was just saying that we actually like. It's been times where, somebody you genuinely have a heart for. They do something that can offend you too, can hurt you because we're human at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're hurt, we are expected to not be hurt and continue to show up, continue to do what we're supposed to do, continue to. And I've had people in my office. They're sitting there, they're talking to me, and they be saying crazy stuff to me.
Yeah.
Like really saying crazy stuff, disrespectful and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm expected to just take it.
Yep.
But if I say anything slight of being, Peter, or
Right.
Paul,
Right.
it's like, I can't believe he said that.
Right.
But we're still human beings. And I think the pressures that I deal with a lot is how do I manage allowing some things to take place and I never get to respond the way I really would want to. So I have to filter a lot of things because the first thing you think is I'm a grown man. Who are you talking to? That's the first thing you think.
You hit it on the nail
But
there.
then we have to say, okay, well, let's look at it from a different angle. That's my way of saying who you talking to.
And
You know what I'm saying?
sometimes people still respond as if you said who you
Who you talking to?
Man, that's the worst. That's my biggest thing, not being able to respond how you want to respond. Because if Randy say something to somebody, they'll just be like, I don't like her, whatever. It's
That's
cool.
it. Right.
If I say it, they leave the church. They mad at me.
They don't go to church
It's
ever
so
again in their life.
big, like it's like he's not real.
Yeah.
It turns so big just because I gave you my opinion. Listen, I lost some people, a group of people, just because I told one person no on something.
Oh yeah.
And they got a whole group of people to go hard with them against me just because I said no.
And let me tell you why this is an important conversation for all y'all listening and watching right now, so y'all don't accuse us of just venting.
Right.
There was an article that came out, and they said that talking
You
about
go
how
ahead.
many.
this dude.
You already know, cuz. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going home. I'm going home.
Stay here.
All right, nope, bye.
Lock him up. Go ahead.
Don't be pastor hurt. While you
I'm
pastor.
hurt. I hear the podcast hurts. Continues. No, but for real, there's this article that's talking about why pastors are leaving. And so many pastors are leaving the pulpit. So I want you to understand that this is not just 3 pastors right now venting. So many pastors are leaving right now, and they're saying it's because the church has become a hostile work environment.
Wow.
For them, meaning they are constantly under the fear that they're going to get canceled, fired, criticized. They're constantly under this fear that they can, if they do anything in leadership by the leading of the Holy Spirit, anyway, there's this fear I'm gonna get canceled, and there's this anxiety associated with it that makes them not want to do it anymore. So this is not just 3 black men up here frustrated about some of the stuff that we go through in pastoring. This is a universal issue that we need to address and talk about.
And that's the purpose of this podcast, man, because a lot of pastors are not going to do this.
Yeah.
Like you just said, they don't want to get canceled. So they're not going to get up there and just tell, but it's a lot of people want to know what we go through. Besides, people already have a picture of us. They already got who we are in their mind.
Right.
And I wanted to do this just to give you a little bit, some things from our perspective. I want to get y'all to know us a little bit more beyond the platform, because at the end of the day, everybody wants this transparency from us, right? But when you really think about it, you said it earlier, can you really handle the transparency? Here's why we don't get up and tell in the pulpit or on platforms like this and tell you everything that we go through, everything that we deal with, everything that we've been through. Because we already have to live up to the unrealistic expectation of being perfect. They already think that because we have this relationship with God that allows us to lead, because we can hear God a lot differently than some people, or God deals with us differently to a point to where it makes us a leader. They think that they give us this unrealistic expectation, like y'all have to be perfect. Y'all talking to God dealing with y'all, then y'all should automatically. It should never be a stumble. You should never be in your flesh. You should never have a moment where you want to tell somebody. You should never have a moment where you lose your cool. You should never have. They think we should never have these moments.
Yeah,
but we do. We do. And see, I see. I felt a little something when I said that. I just felt something because we do.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, the reason why we can't get up. I'll be honest with you. God don't want us to tell you everything we go through. He don't want us to get up and share every time we go through something. He don't want us to get in the pulpit and tell y'all. Like I grew up in a church where if you messed up or did something wrong, you had to come down to the front of the church
and confess to the whole body
and tell the whole body so and so was fornicating, and that's what she's pregnant.
It's ridiculous.
She's pregnant now. Why you got? Listen, some of these people in your church would be pregnant if it wasn't for birth control. They'd be pregnant too. Yeah. But we ain't pulling them down.
Yeah.
But see, we can't be transparent all the time because, to be honest, God's going to forgive us, but you're not.
You're not going to.
That's big.
You're not going to forgive us.
You're going to discredit us.
God is looking at it like, that's my man. Yeah, he messed up, but that's my man. I'm going to raise him up. I already got a plan for him to escape whatever he done fell into. But y'all ain't going to never give us that grace. Ever.
Yeah. Let me build into that. Let me speak into that because, we call, it's called walk on water syndrome. We're supposed to walk on water, but here's the thing. And we are supposed to walk on water as pastors. Mm-hmm. Like literally, we are supposed to walk on water. Think about it. Mm-hmm. Peter was called to walk on water.
Okay, I'm with you.
Peter did what nobody else did in that moment because Jesus only called Peter out and said walk on water. Uh-huh. Just like us pastors, we are doing stuff that other people can't do because they weren't called to it. The problem is we forget when we're dealing with and we get frustrated with our pastors and our leaders in the church, we forget that Peter in his humanity sank, even though he started walking on water. And that's what we have to keep in mind. It's like you have to understand that, yes, the only one in this congregation called to lead this church right now is the senior pastor. All right. Just like Peter was the only one walking on water. But in Peter's humanity, he sank. And the same thing in our humanity, we're gonna upset some people. In our humanity, we're gonna have some human moments, but people can't handle us sinking in the same way that they will
Begin to sing.
begin to
Yeah,
Because
sing.
we ain't gonna never sing.
Right, right,
That's
right.
what I'm
Begin
saying.
to sing.
We gonna never sing.
But catch this though. When you're looking at that with Peter, he began to sink, and all the other people on the boat had a front row seat to see him begin to sing.
Right,
Right.
Come
The
on now.
reason they could see it is because he's out there ahead.
I'm
And
with you.
guess where he's going? Closer to Jesus.
Closer to Jesus.
And the
Uh-huh.
Bible says that Jesus reached out and grabbed him and saved him. That means he was closer to Jesus than they were on the boat.
Yeah, right, right, right.
And then the fact that he began to sink, Jesus saved him, which is great. But guess what? He walked twice on the water because he had to walk back to the boat to the people that was watching him the whole time.
Yep.
So that's what the Lord does with us. We have issues and we have struggles, and we're on a leadership scale, so everybody can see us. Everybody can see there's some struggles we may go through. There's some issues we may go through. The Lord can grab us and make us walk again, and we're still walking back to the same people who was looking at us fall, and they never even understood why we fell.
Yeah. But it's almost like it's no grace for us.
No.
We could do 199 things right and have one slip up and you're canceled.
Yeah.
You can
That's
99
pressure.
things right.
That's a lot of pressure.
That's pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
And when I say slip up, I ain't talking about just no outrageous crazy stuff. It could
No,
be something
anything.
really small, man.
Non-egregious.
Yeah, it could be something that's
really
not, but
small.
one, and it's like they want to, and to me, so many people waiting on you to mess up.
See,
And that's what I've noticed in the church. I hate that. It's so many people waiting on you to mess up.
Yeah.
See, I used to do this welcome before COVID and before we came to this one church that we're at now. I used to do this welcome where I would walk down and greet people. You know, I would hug people, shake people's hands and all that, right? One lady left the church because she said when I came down to welcome people, I shook her hand, but I hugged everybody else. That was it.
Wow. You're right.
It was so small, but
That's pressure, man.
that's a lot of. So now, how to fix that is, I don't come off the stage at all.
Yeah.
I just stay up there.
But then somebody be mad at that.
Right.
Like, he don't engage us enough.
And
He don't
but
come
think
on
about that, and that's our perspective.
It is
Now,
our perspective.
Her perspective is he got something against me.
He wasn't as nice to
He's
me
not
as he
nice
was to
to
someone
me.
else.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and that's why the Bible says the first to plead their case sounds right until another one comes and examines them. You know, there's two sides, and this is good that people are finally able to hear. Look, this is where we coming from. This is what we talking about. It'd be so fun. I mean, because that's one of the things that always baffles me. Because it's like, why is it that we enjoy tearing down today those we built up yesterday? Why do we enjoy that so much as a civilization?
Hosanna 1 week, crucify him the next.
Come
That is
on.
hilarious. Hey, look, you're watching the Beyond the Platform podcast, Beyond the Platform podcast. I still can't get it right.
You'll get it by week
You
14.
watch it. I get it by week 14. Beyond the Platform podcast.
Oh.
Go to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to randomly pick 3 people who comment on YouTube. Their Cash App. I'm going to randomly pick 3 people and give you $50 tonight. Okay, like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching this now on Facebook, share it. Okay. So look, okay, I want to talk about. I want to touch this. Okay, because this is no one ever hears our perspective on this. How do we deal? How does it feel when we have this fallout with people? When people get mad at us and they leave your church upset. It's never smooth. It's never, we done been through this 1,000 times. Y'all know we didn't call each other like, yeah, man, you're tripping. But speak to that. Give me. I want to hear y'all perspective, man. I mean, speak to that.
Well, the wonderful members of City of Joy never do me like this. I'll just talk about. No, I'm just playing. I think it comes from 2 perspectives. Number one, let's just be clear. Pastors normally do not have a problem with people leaving their church
Some do.
if it's done in the correct way.
I'm about to say some do.
Okay, well, I don't.
Some do. Period.
I don't. If the Lord is leading you somewhere else and you good, but when it's in a negative fashion, I would like you to share that. So A, I can make adjustments if I need to, so it don't happen to somebody else. Or B, I can defend the situation that you may think something happened that really didn't. But a lot of times what bothers me the most is when somebody say they feel they need to move on, whatever, and then you get the dog on us, like in the streets of Facebook, or I just don't understand that part, because I was a good pastor when I was there and helped you, though, but now that you feel you led somewhere else, cool. Why you gotta run us down? Like, I don't. And the thing is, I think what people need to realize is you might run us down to someone who is supposed to be connected to us.
Right.
So you just broke a bridge for somebody's family, for somebody's son who could get saved under our ministry, somebody's daughter who could be called to ministry under us. You just, because you had an issue and you ran us down, you broke the bridge between someone who honestly was supposed to be connected to us in the first place. And to me, that's scary in that sense.
Is it just easier to have a reason just to tear the church down? I mean, you can leave mad. Most people leave because of offense.
Right.
Very few times do people just leave because they, and most people are very, at least what I've dealt with is people who are passive aggressive when they leave. They need to find a reason. They need to find an excuse to leave. It's like they don't want to just say, "Hey, I'm upset. I'm out of here," or "I'm leaving," or "I'm just leaving. It's time for me to go a different place." It almost seems like they need a reason to if it ain't church hurt, it's you did something to them, and or they just offended by this, or what's this? What is it that makes people not just leave right?
I believe so. It used to be funny, to use a celebrity here. It used to be funny when Halle Berry would get married to somebody, and then they would divorce,
Right.
and they would always look at the dude like, "You, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with him? Right? What's wrong with him?
What's wrong with you? Why would you leave Halle Berry?" And a lot of time, and they have to justify it. They have to say it. And a lot of times, I believe that's what it is. If you are in a good situation, if it's in a good church, and if I'm no longer there, or if I'm leaving, I've been here for 15, 20 years, and I'm leaving, or I have a change of heart, or I want to do something different. If I just leave, that makes me look bad.
Right.
So I have to do something or say something to make me not look as bad. Right. And that's, the experience that really is hurtful to pastors. Right. Like, that hurts me. I'm going to be honest with you. It hurts me deeply. It cut me deeply when, people I've loved on, people I've, given so much to, and, baptized babies,
that's the case.
Giving you so much words of life, just nothing but love and love and love. And then in a moment, I can be a villain. In the moment, I'm hated. In the moment, there's no qualms talking bad about me or my wife or the church in the streets, man. That tore me up, and it still tears me up.
Why not give us the same grace we gave you in situations? Or give us the same grace you give yourself in certain situations. It's been plenty of times where people just let us have it for no reason. You need a reason to be mad. You need a reason to talk about it. You need a reason to say that. Listen, it's people mad at me and don't even know me.
Right.
It's people like, "Oh, nah, that pastor right there." And it's based on like
what
other people, what they heard,
what
what somebody done said about us, or other people's experience with me, or a group of people leave and try to find everything they can on you. It's sad, because it's like, why can't it just be this, it's over.
The season is over.
This season is over. I'm moving on. And that's it. Why does it have to be so combative and you letting us have it? Or, I be getting screenshots. You didn't send me, y'all didn't send me a couple of things.
And they getting you, dude. Hey,
I think you talking about you, boss.
Dude, some of the lies and some of the stuff be sounding good.
Yeah.
I be wishing I wish I did have it like that.
Man.
Because the one time, it was a rumor, I don't know if I should say it, but hey, well, we here now. It was a rumor, me and you bought 2 houses in Portis Lakes.
Lake houses. And
hey,
we took,
listen,
we did
I heard
I
about
wish
that.
I had the money where Patrice didn't know I spent $600,000.
I had to buy a lake house, for real.
But that's
With my wife.
You
This was me and your lake house they talking about, though. We had lake houses.
Like, what?
Stuff. Man, I heard so much stuff about us, man. I was like, wow, man.
I wish I had it like
Yeah,
that.
And some of that was from people at my church that went to my church, man.
Yeah, I stole
They helped spread that.
I stole $200,000 from the church once.
Wow.
Like, where?
You what?
Yeah, I stole $200,000.
They said that.
I stole $200,000 from the church. The church paid for me to get teeth whitening.
Wow.
See, that's PG stuff.
Wow.
Man. They be saying crazy. Like, he's a
whitening.
big time dope
I'm
dealer.
like,
actor
wait,
now.
what?
Oh, when we bought St. Joe's, they said I money laundered. They said I clean money through
you
the city of
you
Joy.
on Ozark. And
I'm all corny. I don't even know how to clean money. But they said I clean
Bruh.
money. No,
You understand?
I'm the Ozark dude.
Dude,
That's
when
me.
y'all know me when I
You
used
on
to
power.
y'all
Right.
stuff is good
You
because
on
they say
power.
I murder people. Like they got me out here like burying people alive and stuff, man. Like I just
And
click
this
my
is-
ring
and this is real. I was with y'all know Rick McKee. He did the same thing. I don't know if y'all saw the post, but someone thought that he bought like this huge house next to his building. And he was like, no. And he posted a picture of him next to his humble house in Kent. That's like 1,200 square feet. And he put a picture of him standing outside of it, like, this is where I live. And it's sad. I remember when I had my Hummer. Y'all remember that? And I liked Hummers. I loved Hummers, man. And it was a 2003. That thing was almost 20 years old, and I'm pushing it, and people had a problem with it. That thing was old.
Me too. I went through that with the Camaro. But I got the Camaro. Put
And
some
you was
rims
paying
on.
$400 a month for
Yeah,
it.
man.
That was it.
And my wife bought it. She was paying $400, and they let. I called Mason. Mason said, "It's just a Camaro, man." I was like, "Man, they let me have it, man, over Camaro."
But that is pressure, though. So, like, for me, I have a rule, which I'm still not delivered. I'm still not delivered yet, But I don't ever want people to, and I won't say ever, but I worry. There are certain things I like. Number one, I do like vehicles. I like a nice car. I liked a nice car before I was at City of Joy. I'm gonna like a nice car after I was at City of Joy.
Granddaddy of them all.
But here you go. But I be nervous, and like, especially with posting and Facebook and all that and Instagram and stuff, I be so like, before I do it, I be like, all right, if I post this, what is it gonna look like? And what can somebody say? Especially somebody who don't go here no more.
Right.
That's where the pressure is.
That's sad. And that's sad. Why is it like that though? Why do you have to do that?
Because they beat up. Like I've seen some things, and I'm gonna say some things too that But I've seen a couple people that be dogging the church as a whole. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, oh, the church need to do the church need to do that, and you just left mine.
Oh, yes.
Like, wait, we don't even do that.
Yeah, that kills me. That kills me.
Like, that's not even something that happens here, and it's an innuendo. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to look at it and just.
Yeah, that sidebar. That's somebody. I think I make a whole nother thing about that. I be hating when people be like just critiquing the church and like you ain't never had a church, ain't never built a church, ain't even called to lead a church, and all you do is attack the church.
Easy
I
target.
Can't stand it. It's just like, oh my God.
Pastors ain't no good.
It's this one young lady, and I ain't gonna say her name, but I'm gonna say it because it's my show.
It's your podcast.
Hey, it's one young lady, man. I literally had to delete her off Facebook. I'm sorry.
She killing the church.
All she do is talk about the church, and I just be like,
church
what you leaders need to do is do this, and I hear it just like that. That's what it sounds
ain't
like.
never led a day in your life.
And I'm just like, you, what do you do? And she kills the church on a regular basis. Man, look, I don't care. It is what it is. She kills the church on a regular basis, and I just be like, why?
And did be preaching at churches.
Then why do you keep killing the church? That God ain't call us to constantly kill the church.
No, it's still his bride, man. We're talking about the Lord's bride.
It's
And
still his bride.
people have separate Jesus from his church.
Jesus.
And I don't know where that theology is in the Bible. People think I can have Jesus without the church. I ain't gonna get all church fathery on you, but there was one church father by the name of Cyprian that said you cannot have Christ without his church.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate thing, that people think that you can. And that's a scary narrative that many people are falling into. And not only do I feel like I can have Jesus without the church, I feel as though I can criticize the church open season as if God does not have a problem with that.
Why do we ignore you that are spiritual? Restore. Considering yourself.
Yeah.
If you see your brother overtaken or fall, you that are spiritual. Restore. Come on.
That's what it is.
Where did we lose that at? And don't get it wrong, man. We had that excuse. I'm human. I go through it, and we all go through stuff. But why aren't we allowed to get frustrated and be human and vent? Why aren't we allowed to tell ourselves, listen, man, it's pastors watching us right now, probably. That's like, they crazy.
Yeah.
I kind of think that a little bit right now too.
It's pastors watching us right now, like they probably done logged off. Like, I can't watch this. The Lord ain't pleased with this mess. Why can't we tell how we see? This the problem. Everybody wants to know how we feel, but when we start talking
I
about
don't
how
want to
we
hear all
feel,
that.
it's wrong.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's not. This is just honesty. It's not mean spirited.
Right.
This is look. You love your church. You love your church. You
Love 'em.
love your call. You
Love 'em.
love your call. I love my church. I love my call as painful as it is. Can't see myself doing anything else. But in the world that we live in right now,
I can, but
the world that we live in right now, it says that we are not allowed to defend ourselves. And because, we live in this world where celebrities and public figures, it's open season on them all the time. And we can hide behind not knowing them. We can hide behind social media. We can hide behind all these things that keep us anonymous. And we're not allowed to defend ourselves.
Right.
Not allowed to say anything.
Take
So
the high road.
we got to take the high road, which is we are taking the high road by not. This is what's funny to me and my wife was just talking about this the other day. It's funny how people who attack us and attack the church forget that we know them.
Right.
Forget you told me everything.
I could kill you
I could
now.
You will be
Oh,
unemployed for the rest of your. So it's like we
Right.
keeping our, but we can't. But you
Right.
can
We
make
can't.
stuff up.
Or
Okay.
I even know. Watch this, and I'll get in trouble. We get in trouble with God for this, but we even know your vulnerability.
Yes.
We even know what ticks you. We even know what to have you depressed for 4 months. If I said this, if I said this will mess you up. If I said your name right now, like you, because people leave your church, right? I'll be getting screenshots all the time, and I had to tell people to stop sending me screenshots because I'm gonna end up saying something to them. People would just, you only went to one church ever, or you only been to 2 churches ever. You just left ours. All your posts is about bad church. And then you're like, I ain't talking about nobody. Who else you talking about? I get the screenshots. They be like, Pastor, can I say something to him? And I'll be like, because I got crazy members. I don't know about y'all. My members be like, they all Peters. I got a bunch of Peters.
My wife
like,
is a Peter.
They be like, can I say something to him? Can I please say something to them, Pastor? Can I say something? I'll be like, nope. I'll be like, that's a shot at us. I didn't screenshot you. You didn't screenshot me like, I think they talk about you, Doc.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we get shots thrown at us
Right.
all the time. Now, I ain't pressed. It ain't no big deal. But the thing is, my people engaged. And my people is looking
It
at
bothers
me.
them.
And it bothers them. And so I'm like, yeah, that is a shot. And then sometimes I'll be transparent. Sometimes when I do get a screenshot, I'll be like, dog, why would he say that about me? I ain't even did nothing to him. But see, what happens when they leave our church, they usually connect with other people who left your church that's mad. It's crazy because people didn't even like each other when they went to my church, don't even talk to each other. But as soon as they leave, they become best friends.
Yeah.
And now because they've joined together, fitly joined together.
Watch your voice, Reverend.
From the aspect of hating me. And now they best friends because we both got this in common. We hate Kelker.
Right.
So it's like now everybody, they best friends, and they end up falling out too because it ain't real anyway, because y'all remember y'all never liked each other in the real, and I had to pray to keep y'all together. I had to pray so y'all can love each other in church. But it's like you attack church constantly, but then it's that passive aggressive stuff. If I did call you and say, are you talking about, no. I just want to say what it is. I just want to say what it is.
Don't be so offended. Don't be so offended. But it's funny that they can say something that's false to hurt us. We could say something that's true that could kill them.
Forever.
And it just baffles me. It's like, you really know how much integrity I have.
No, I know.
You know how much I'm not gonna say anything. You have
That's
a
why they
whole
can
lot
do
of
it.
great. You got a whole lot of faith in my walk with the Lord.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna keep this stuff
Between me and you.
And can I tell you something right now? I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. We tell each other.
Yeah.
We share it with each other.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes not. I know Glass don't tell us everything. Glass is very reserved. He ain't gonna. But I tell you, I've been to y'all.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be
telling
stressing
you
people
like,
out.
that's what they did. We gotta have an avenue.
Gotta have
to air it out too.
Yeah.
And I'll never talk about it down. I mean, my close people, they be knowing what's going on. We be talking, but I'm saying, we air it out with each other sometimes because sometimes you need to hear somebody else going through what I'm going through.
Now, peep this though. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody done something to you that you can't even tell your wife? Because you know she gonna go ballistic.
Oh my God.
I just take it on the chin and just keep on moving. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am not
Oh
telling
my
her this
God.
one.
Oh, one
Oh,
thing about
no.
Lady K, you do me bad. She done
They
with you.
looking for
She done with you.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be. I mean, I'm the same way with her.
I'll be like, no, I'll just leave that. I'll just take that. I'll just take that one.
you can dog me, but if you dog my wife, I got a problem with you.
Yeah.
Keep my wife's
Name
name
out your
out your mouth.
I knew it was coming. I knew it. At some point in the tour, I knew something was
coming.
It was coming to Chris Rock.
I don't play with that. Like, she don't play with that with me. But see, it be some things that happen in the church. I'm gonna be honest. I can't really share it with Lady K because our grace is sort of different as head,
Right.
as senior leadership. Our grace is sort of as lead pastors.
And
our
just
grace
as
is
men.
sort of
You know what I'm
different.
saying?
Yes, men. Period. We're not as emotional. And
Right,
I
right,
don't mean
right.
that in a crazy way. Ladies, don't attack
Yeah,
me.
right.
I don't mean it in a crazy way.
Definitely.
But we just look
Or
at it
even
differently. Yeah.
And so some things we can't share with Lady K. Some people have done me bad, and it's like I don't know what that
What was
was.
that?
But some stuff we simply can't share. I don't know what that was. I don't know if we had to cast that out. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't supposed to be here. Go ahead. What you about to say, man?
I just love everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, but we do.
No, we really want y'all to
we
see
do.
this transparent side.
But we
because
do.
We got emotions too, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the reality.
Okay, you
Like,
love everybody, but have you ever had a situation where you don't like a person?
Yeah, and this is gonna sound really bad.
Check that out.
Maybe
Man,
I shouldn't
bro.
say this.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Maybe I shouldn't say this.
We're at
but
57 minutes. It's time to end the podcast.
Right.
Sometimes this is gonna sound really bad, and I probably shouldn't say this, but since we here, have you ever had somebody leave and they was good people? They talked to you, no problem. How come the one you want to leave? Should I not have said that?
I don't know.
You ain't never had somebody
I ain't
that
never
you
had
be
nobody
like,
I want to leave.
Oh, leave me out here.
Wait a minute,
I ain't never had that sermon. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me finish your question
Go
first.
ahead.
before I
Go
answer
ahead.
that.
I ain't
don't know.
saying nothing
Finish your
else.
question first.
I'm sorry.
I love all my people. I need all y'all. Keep coming.
Listen,
I love you.
Y'all
No.
corny.
I like you all.
Listen,
I ain't never had a
I've
good
had-
member go. And
I've
then you
had-
had one like,
I've had plenty of people. I'm like, but I realize, and I ain't gonna get all spiritual and say,
I know, y'all
let the
don't
wheat
kill
and
me.
tares grow together.
Don't kill
But that
me,
is
but-
true. But I've had people I wanted to leave. I've had some people that were very,
but they be
but
so
I,
mad.
but I got the
every
revelation
Sunday.
that they were sent. They were sent there to give me a lesson in love. Because a lot of people that I deal with, a lot of my church, I'm hands on with my church, and I really like to engage
Yeah.
with my church. I'll go to a function. I'll go to something at your house. I'll go to, I can't go to everything, and that some people get offended by that and leave.
Right.
You went over there to them, but you couldn't come to mine. I done went through that. I had people leave because of that. But I try to be engaged with the people, and some people be rough. Some people you try to love on them, and you try to, especially if they come from other churches. And I hate when they come from other churches and start bashing that pastor because I automatically
I shut that down.
I automatically think you about to do that to me.
Same
Yeah.
thing to me. Yeah.
As soon as you come in and bash the last pastor, I'll be like, as soon as you mad at me,
You out.
you're gonna let me have it just like that.
And then if you do bash him, I'm gonna call and tell him anyway. If I know.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody else, but I don't know the other pastors. So. But I've had people come in and it's immediately attack.
Yeah.
And I automatically think you're gonna do that. But I've had people come in and talk about us and they there. Still they won't leave. And I'm like, you keep talking about us.
But you don't like
but
it.
you're not leaving.
You don't like it.
But I mean,
So-
I guess it's a lesson in love for us.
So
I
for me-
think it's
go ahead.
God want to deal with us and teach us a new level of love.
And
It's
that's
hard to
yeah.
look at these people knowing they talking about you and still hug. And I hug them genuinely. I really do be loving these people.
I
be
really
like,
do
I
love
be like,
them.
dog, if they ain't talking about me, they'd be all right, man. They
If they wasn't dogging me,
You know,
then I actually would be.
I
cool,
done, I done
man.
did that. I done hug people and
Right.
said, man, if they ain't talking about me, they'd be all right, man.
They ain't that bad right now because I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, so for me personally, I have to stay in the realm of I can't go there if I don't like people. Just me personally, because I'm the type of person where, if I don't like you, I'm not gonna have anything to do with you. Like that's just, and I can't pastor you well. So I like, Lord, you got to work on me. But I will say there is those concerns that I have. What we laughing at?
You hooking it up? Go ahead.
No, man. No, but for real, there are those concerns I have because a lot of times, people don't know what they do.
Right.
Jesus said that. But I do have those concerns, man, because you got those individuals who don't even realize that they sabotage. They're saboteurs, and they don't even realize. Some do.
But in your humanity, have you ever had a person you just didn't like?
Of course.
And, okay, that's what I'm
Of
saying.
course, yes.
I-
In my
that's the hard-
humanity, there are people I don't like, but it's like I can't live there.
I get over it. Yeah, I get over it.
I can't live there because
get
at
over
the end of the day, if this person needs me, if this person needs their pastor, I gotta be there.
Oh no, I don't know.
regardless.
Let me be clear.
Okay.
I done help people I don't like.
Okay. Yeah.
And I say, okay, I can't stay here. I can't stay. And sometimes me helping them made me feel a little bit better. Some people do things to where it's hard to like them sometimes, y'all.
That's just being honest.
Some people do things where it's hard. And as pastors, listen, I got some antagonizers in my church
being honest
that
man.
constantly just do things. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, why? I've wanted to look at people and say, why are you here? But I don't. I love on them. I do what I'm supposed to do. But I've had to pray, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I've literally, and I want y'all to hear this, pastors who watching. If you watching, I done had to pray, Lord, help me like them. Lord, am I the only one who had to do that?
No.
I'm the only one gonna be sure. Listen,
No.
I done had to pray. Pastor elect Randy, I done had to pray. Lord, help me like them. Do you know what I mean that, man? I know that's probably gonna get me ostracized in some camps.
But why is that? Why is that bad to say when?
Because it's us saying it.
Yeah, because we're not allowed to say that.
Truth.
But we're not allowed to say
We're not to say that. We can't say
you
that.
have to love everybody like Jesus.
Well, I'm not.
Don't stumble there.
I'm not him.
You're not Jesus, right?
I'm not him.
But you have to have the love of Christ in you.
No, yeah, and I think let's just be clear so everybody understands what we're referring to. It's not like we see somebody be like, no, it's not like that. It's some people can be very difficult.
Who do things to us.
Yes, there's some people who are very difficult on your job. There's people who's very difficult. You know that one cousin who come over, don't bring no food, but want to eat everything up. You know, the difficult ones. And then got in there to say the food ain't good. You know, the ones that don't serve in ministry but want to critique everything about the ministry. Yeah, I feel
that happens everywhere.
I mean, it's just like, and most of the time, if we're being transparent, a lot of the time, the ones that we help the most sometimes can be very, it can be frustrating. Yeah. You know, especially when they'll come into your office, you talk to them, you're giving them the right biblical, godly advice, and they refuse to take it. Yeah. And then the next week, they're in a worse situation.
Right.
When God gave you the biblical knowledge to help them, they refuse to take it. They end up in a worse situation, and guess who they need again to help? You. You know, it's just I'm
gonna be transparent.
I think I'm talking too long.
Go ahead.
More transparent.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now this really may get me in trouble.
I'm feeling stressed.
Don't get me in trouble with y'all members. I've reached out to both of y'all because I've seen a couple people leave y'all church, and it made me mad the way they did it because of some public stuff. And I done been through stuff. I done been through stuff with people leaving and acting a fool, doing whatever. But I done seen a couple people leave y'all church, and it made me mad because the way they did it. I watched somebody you raise up. I watched somebody both of y'all raise up. Who they just did y'all wrong, and I got mad because it was like I watched y'all groom them. I was around. I watched y'all. I even told one of y'all, be careful with that one. And I watched it happen. And I got mad, man. I ain't gonna even lie. I got mad because it's like you got everything you received from this church. This church kind of helped you get a brand, so to speak, or a name, or can I just be honest with you? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm being transparent. As pastors, we see this stuff, and most pastors be like, "That's what they get. What they did wrong." I didn't look at it like y'all did nothing wrong. I looked at it like they did something wrong, and maybe because I'm sitting in the same seat as you, but I actually got mad, man. I actually got mad when I saw that, man. I want to ask y'all a question, real talk, and I told y'all I may ask this. How do y'all feel about it?
Oh, dog. Woo. The worst experience I've ever had in my life. Yeah. Worst experience I ever had in my life because, it's all the cliches don't help the pain. Jesus, had a Judas, and if it happened to Jesus, it happened to all these people that don't help the pain, man, when you're going through that stuff. So, dude, they very angry. Like, I'm still in counseling because of it. And I'm very transparent in my church. They know about it. I'm very transparent. I'll talk to anybody about it. But the hardest part is when you don't see it coming. Like you
Well,
don't see
do
it
we ever?
coming.
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes you
Sometimes.
kind of see
Sometimes
it,
we do.
and sometimes it is the reality is you you don't you sometimes what it is you don't allow yourself to see what's right in front of you. You know, because of when I was going through what I was going through, Bishop Johnson told me, he was like, dude, you saw it, but love covers a multitude of sins.
Right.
So when you are in love with someone, when you're in love with what you're doing, with your love, you can easily not see what's right in front of you.
Right.
But man, it hurt, bro. Like it was like I'm done. Like I'm not doing this no more. Hurt, and this is that was one of the things for me. And I believe many pastors, they have those circumstances, they have those pains, those hurts that will make them question, why
We could
am I
be
still
hurt
doing
too.
this?
We could be hurt
Why
too.
am I still doing this?
My hurt just turned into anger all the time, real quick. I'd be hurt for like 10 minutes and then it turned into anger like for the rest of my life. But go ahead.
Well, it definitely hurts because you genuinely care for them. So that hurts. And I honestly think some people can look at us, and please take this in the spirit I'm saying it in. I think sometimes people can look at us and be like, I can do that too. You know what I'm saying? I think
You don't say.
I think some people look at, because I remember one time you was at my church years ago, and you called it out. You was like, hey man, this dude think he can do you, man. Like you called it out. And that's cool. And you may be able to, but there is still a thing called the anointing that we don't deserve. God provides, and favor is good. My mic good? All right, can y'all hear me online? Let me look. Can y'all hear me? I can't hear y'all. So I'm on my way there. Oh, okay. But let me finish. So I think some people tend to think either we make it look maybe kind of not as hard as it is or easy, but this ain't what you think this is.
No.
Like, you get you get the stage and you get some lights that you can't even see the people you preach to and all that. All right, great. But it's not what you think it is. And I think some people jump out and they feel, oh, I can do this. And then by doing that, they look at you as a less respectful way. And then when they step out, they realize, oh, this ain't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And instead of being humble and saying, you know what, I want to come and apologize, it usually doesn't come.
We've all made the mistake of giving people access that they shouldn't have.
True.
As leaders, we've all made a mistake of giving people access to that. And sometimes that access allows them to see our transparency a little more than other people,
Lose respect.
So I've had guys close to me saw me behind the scenes. Nothing disrespectful or nothing like that. They just saw me behind the scenes. They saw how I dealt with people. They saw how I did things. They may have saw liberties and things like that, right? So automatically in their mind, they like, if they can do this, I can do this because I'm with them behind the scenes, and it isn't much that they're doing. But you weren't with me on Saturday where I'm laying on that threshing floor for 8 hours sometimes. Praying for you and covering you. You are not with me when God is corrected and giving revelation and doing whatever. You don't know about the thorn. You just see that we was caught up in the third heavens and we came back. You don't know what we really go through.
No.
You just see, you can't judge my life and think you can build what we built off seeing us before and after church. We got a private life that we spend time with God, and we didn't get here because there was no relationship built with God. You understand what I'm saying?
And many times pain causes us to be promoted.
Yeah.
And some people can't handle this type of cut.
Right.
Because, even when you look at the Bible, many times people were hurt before they were ever elevated.
Right.
And some people get hurt and quit. We get hurt and pray.
Keep going.
And keep going.
See, because we always talk about God wants a yes. God don't want a yes. He wants you to be yes.
Wow.
He wants you to always have that, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with. It's not about who's going to say yes. It's who's going to be yes. And the reason that God calls certain people is because he knows you're going to be a yes. Yeah. And if you are looking at this calling and you're saying, I want to do that and I want to do this, you got to ask yourself, are you going to say yes or are you going to be yes? Because the problems are coming. I don't care how much you're going to insulate yourself and protect yourself. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care who you connected to. If you are doing anything that is bearing fruit and that's going to be a threat to the kingdom of darkness, you going to hurt a little bit. The question is the hurt going to turn your yes into a not no more?
Yeah, right. Right. It's a lot of pressure, man.
It is.
It's a lot of pressure being on this platform, man. And so some people are so sensitive, they lose it with anything. I mean, you could tell like some people maybe like left mad. If you left what you left for, the reason you left, if you can't handle that,
You can't do this.
you can't do this. You understand what I'm saying? If I look at why you upset because I did this or I said this, but you think you ready to pastor or you ready to lead people and you having a hard time with this?
It's another level.
It's a whole nother level, man. And it's pressure that comes being on this platform.
And I have a heart for pastors and leaders because I understand. And I love this thing that we're doing because I think this might help some people just have a better understanding. But there were so many things behind closed doors we had to go through before we were ready to even walk into this calling. You know, so many things that we had to be prepared for by ourselves, not with a group. You know how many times you've been prepared with 0 members so that when you have 500, you can handle it?
Right.
You know, it's so many. I look at my life and I look back and I see all of some of these disappointments and relationship issues. And many times the ministry itself can be a hazard to the family and relationships.
Right.
It just can be. You know, the ministry is a hazard to relationships.
Man.
And it is up to us that are called of God to set aside many times our feelings, our emotions, set aside what we want to do, set aside what we want to say. We have to set aside so much just to stand up and declare the works of the Lord that it mess with your mind. You know, we have mind battles, you know, all the time. Like, all right, based on how I'm being treated, Lord, are you sure I'm called to this? But last week, you know you was called to it. And it's a spiritual schizophrenia. I was talking about it yesterday. It's an up and down because when things are normal on the CAT scan, you know, is that a CAT scan or that whatever that thing is, that means you're dead. But when it go up and down, that's the definition of life.
Wow, that's good.
And ministry is up and down. Ministry is up and down. One Sunday you think you're where God called you to be. The next Sunday, you know, I remember when I bought my building, it was my lowest attendance ever on that Sunday we walked in there. And we just bought this big building. You go up and down, up and down, up and down. And then we still have to be faithful enough to God to still show up when we don't want to. And honestly, transparent moment for me, many times when I don't want to be there, that's when he show up.
That's when he do the most, ain't it? Ain't it, man?
That's when he show up the most, when I'm tired and I'm like, oh,
but the pressure of everything we go through outside, but we still have to come there and make sure we're okay for you.
For them.
No, if we came in and said how we feel every Sunday, my whole sermon I would do an intro, cuss, and then do the benediction. I'd just like boop 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 boop. Okay, bless me indeed. That'll be my sermon.
I'm gonna be honest though, if you do have a pastor that does not do that, you have a good. There are pastors that do that.
I'm sure.
There are pastors where you gonna get my frustration.
Yeah.
I'm gonna yell at y'all for being here. I'm gonna yell at the folk not here through at y'all. You know what I'm saying?
You can't bleed on the people, man.
You know what I'm saying? You can't bleed on the people. So if you have a pastor that does not ever bleed on you or does not intentionally bleed on you, you need to praise God that that's a pastor that you have that has enough wherewithal and the self-control to say, you know what? I am about to give the people some edification to the best of my ability.
See, I appreciate y'all transparency, man. And this is a good start for what we're trying to do, man. And I'm just appreciative that y'all would even come and just bear what y'all did, man. And we was a little reserved tonight.
I just wonder how many members we about to lose.
Yeah, we about to
Don't worry
lose.
about it.
It's
13,
over. 13 for each of us.
13 members.
13. That's
You know,
the number.
but I appreciate the transparency because you don't always. People say they want it, but they're not really ready for it. And like I said, we were mild tonight. You know, it's just a situation where, you know, I just want you to give the same grace to us that you give to yourself, and we would be more transparent if the pew could be trusted to handle the transparency of the pulpit. Yeah, the pew hasn't proven that it's ready for the transparency of the pulpit. When y'all say y'all wanted to be transparent, y'all just want to know our business.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know if what y'all heard was true or not. You don't want us to be transparent how we really feel. Because you know what happens? When we do have transparent moments with y'all that are not public, y'all leave.
Mm.
Y'all mad. When we do have transparent moments, if we tell you how we really feel and say, you know what, I don't like this, I don't like that, and I don't like the way you did that, and you did this. When we really have transparent moments, it leads to church hurt. Yeah. And we're not coming against you. We're just being real about how we feel. Yeah. When if I tell you, hey, this I messed up and I did this. God is a God of wrath, and you're gonna judgment and wrath is gonna come your way. But if you do the same thing, He's a God of grace and mercy.
Let us pray.
But it's us. You understand what I'm saying? It's us, and we can't fumble the ball. We're just not allowed to have an Ernest Biner moment on the 3-yard line with the Super Bowl on the line. We're just not allowed to fumble.
Which is one of the reasons we are not overly transparent with our lives, because if you're not going to guard your heart, I'm going to guard it for you. Right. A lot of times you say you want some information, but there's a perception that you have of your pastor that you need to have. Some people, that's what it comes down to. It's like, do you want Brendan the human or do you want Brendan the pastor? Right. Brendan the human is not called to shepherd you. Right. Now, right. The pastor is. And some people, they just, unfortunately, they just cannot realize that I cannot handle anything other than my shepherd's voice. Wow. I don't want to hear you yelling at the TV during the Browns game. I can't handle that perception of you. I can't. Don't tell me that you and your wife don't get along sometimes. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's not that we are trying to be perfect or present perfection. But sometimes it's the best thing a parent could do for the kid is not tell them what I'm going through. Right. I can't tell my kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, man, look, sit down. Let me tell you, these lights about to get turned off. We ain't about to eat today and all this other stuff. The kids can't handle that. And sometimes the members think they can handle stuff that you just really cannot handle. God wanted me to pastor you. Now, if God's calling me to be your friend, that's a different conversation. Right. That's a different level. But we live in a time now where, unfortunately, people feel entitled to everything. And because I feel entitled to everything, who are you to tell me that I cannot have this information or I can't have that access? So, yeah, man, that's just the truth. That's just the reality.
And I want to, before make sure to do this thought, get your questions in. We're going to let him do this last thought, and then we're going to answer some questions. So get your questions in, and don't forget, like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. And if you comment in the comments with your Cash App, I'm going to pick 3 people. Huh? We got enough people to do that? Okay. We got questions? Okay. All right. Go ahead. Get your questions.
Just one thing I want to say based on what Pastor Glass said about how, there's a pastor us and there's human us. I just want to salute all of our wives and our children that have to deal with the human us all the time. Yeah. And, they see us in a human moment all the time. Right. And I want to salute our close staff or friends that was with us before. Mm-hmm. They know our human side, but can still submit to the pastor side. Yeah, I just want to salute those type of people in my life that allowed me to be their pastor when they knew who I was before. You know what I mean? Because the people that that meet me now see me in a totally different light than the people who was rocking with me when we was, right. Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to salute our families, our wives, our children. I know how many times my kids had to not have me there for the church, and I'm not pastor to them. And one time we was in the store, and like 4 people came up to me and was like, Pastor, can you pray for me? Pray. My daughter was young. She might have been 10 years old. She was like, are you a pastor right now? She just didn't get it. Right. Like, leave my dad alone. So I just want to salute my family and my wife.
Salute everybody who can tell the difference between your Clark Kent and your Superman.
Yes, I want to salute all them. So.
That's good.
That's real.
I hope I gained like 4 members back that's left already since this podcast.
At least 4. At least 4 on that one.
All right, so look. I don't know if we got any questions yet, but let's take some questions and let's try to answer these questions real quick so we can shut this down. Look, man, we almost done a little bit over an hour. I like this podcast. Go ahead. Yeah. Ooh, private hate and public Pollard, Bishop Pollard. No, he ain't Bishop Pollard, but private hate and public praise. That's almost equivalent to public attacks and private apologies. That's gonna be one of my podcasts. But go ahead, Mason.
Well, private hate and public praise means they really don't like you, but they know you're doing a good job.
They with you for the fish and the load.
Yeah, so they have to support that, or their public praise gets them open doors they normally wouldn't get either.
That's good. That's
good.
real.
You know what I'm saying? So they got to drop your name like y'all still cool, or y'all still good. I support you. Oh yeah, City of Joy and Maceo. Yeah, but you really don't like me, but it's just a good thing for you in that moment. So that's what I see in that.
And a lot of that a lot of people do that, man. A lot of people do that. Will kill you privately and love on you publicly.
Yeah.
And some people do the vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Love on you privately and kill you publicly.
Yeah.
You know the people that can't like your stuff, can't say hi to you,
They love
can't
you.
say,
Yeah.
They don't want nobody else to know
Don't
though.
want nobody else.
Yeah.
Go ahead and speak to that for Pollard.
I mean, at the end of the day, we always got to remember jealousy and envy is real. We can't forget that. As much as we try to posture ourselves to make it so people aren't jealous of us, as long as we try to be humble, no matter how much you are humble, how much you try to be humble, people gonna feel about you the way they feel about you. People are gonna have that inner stuff in them that's gonna manifest because of your success.
Like, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the
That's
unfortunate
sad.
reality, and they can't help it. A lot of times people cannot help it, but it's just like they got all of this unmet expectations, unfulfilled dreams, unmet desires in their life. And here you go messing around happy and fulfilled, doing something,
Believe in God,
and they cannot help but feel the way they feel. So it's real. I mean, and how do we deal with that? How do you deal with it? If you are an individual, at the end of the day, you got to deal with that feeling yourself. That's not my responsibility. I can't do anything about that. You know what I'm saying? It is your responsibility to say, you know what? This feeling is not of God. Yeah. And when it comes to publicly, but I'm going to praise you in public, I'm going to love on you. You got to understand there's at least one person that knows what you're doing. There's at least one person that hears what you're doing. There's one person that sees what you're doing. And you got to ask yourself, who is that person and how am I negatively impacting them by making them thinking this is okay?
That's good, man. That's good. I hope that answers your question, man. I mean, all I'm gonna say is like you see in little comedy movies when they be like, my nerves, I can't stand her. Look at her looking all crazy and messed up, and then you see them be like, "Hey, girl."
Yeah.
That's really real.
Yeah.
People really do that with us, with people in church. All right, you got another question? Can the first ladies be what? Next.
Got ready for that.
Oh, like the podcast?
Podcast humble.
Who did the first lady say that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Lady K, Patrice and Glass.
Keep my wife's name. No, Lady K would grab and say, "Keep his wife's name."
Right.
Yeah, we do something with them. Of course, if they want to, they can do it. I want y'all to stick to kind of like what we talking about tonight, though.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We lost 13 members tonight. With them on, we losing 60.
Yeah. Lady K, they gonna say whatever.
They gonna say, all right, finally.
They gonna say,
I'm glad I got a mic
dog
now.
walk you up in here. We let them tell that story, or should we tell it?
I don't know. But
Okay,
First Lady,
we'll leave the stories alone. But
Patrice and Lady K was about to fight somebody.
Our wives have had some moments together.
Yes, they were about to fight somebody in a restaurant.
Oh,
My fault. Are we still transparent? Oh, excuse me. What about it?
It's October.
I'm wondering if that is a question.
Yeah, can you elaborate a little bit
what
more?
Our opinion is on pastor
appreciation.
I think that might be what is the opinion, and I'm not trying to. I don't want to project too much more than that. So
I mean, are we sure that's what they asked? Because I don't want to answer a question they're not answering.
Are they saying what? See, there's so many angles you could be coming from. You could be like, why do y'all have to have that? Y'all don't need that. I don't appreciate y'all. Or you could be saying, so Pastor Appreciation Month is in October. I cut it out when I first came because it's weird to me. And then people asked me could they do it, so I let them do it, and then they started doing it, and then I got upset because it didn't feel like I didn't feel appreciated. Then I don't know that we supposed to be talking about. We
Well,
don't always feel appreciated if that's what you're asking. I know you ain't asking that, but I'll go ahead and volunteer that information for you real quick. We don't always feel appreciated.
Yes.
can they hear her?
Yes,
Like, should we be
yes.
repeating these questions?
Yes.
Can y'all
Yes.
hear her questions?
Yeah.
Or they,
Huh?
can they?
Yeah.
They can hear you. Okay.
Yes.
Can I hear you? Do we get tired of
Yes.
pastoring?
Yeah.
And do we ever feel like we want to quit? Yes.
Dr. Glass, my wife, Bishop Johnson, my husband, Pastor Kelker, are the reason I'm still a pastor right now. After all
Man.
what I went through in 2020, those three voices are the ones that kept me and held me. I was done. I was like, wait, I laid my life down for 20 years and this is what? Nah,
Fear of spending eternity in the bottomless pit is the reason why I'm still a pastor right now. Because I felt like I don't want to quit a lot of time, but I just feel like it's a calling, not a job. So it ain't something you just quit.
This is what God called us to
I
do.
think God called me to do it, so I feel like there'll be some major consequences if I was to quit. I just feel like because even when you've had bad moments, down seasons, I felt like maybe I should just quit. Even when people wanted me to quit, I was in agreement with them, but God didn't allow it, and so but yeah, I wanted to quit plenty of times, and it's something we all go through. We want to because there's so many other things we could be doing.
And I think one thing that
Yeah.
people really need to, I'm saying this over and over again, and I hope that y'all are hearing me. I hope that y'all are really, really, really hearing me when I say this.
It's freezing.
Okay? It is cold.
Can y'all cut the air down?
You feel me
Somebody?
shivering?
Yeah, it's freezing.
But
Jason.
someone did a poll, careers, respectability. Pastoring is down at the bottom of the list, barely above used car salesman.
Dang. JD Bike Rider, cuz?
Like, this is how we are perceived. This is how we are treated. This is how people think of us. Like, when we walk, if you tell people you're a pastor, it's not
Yeah.
celebrated anymore.
Yeah, it ain't.
You know, it's hard. People are comparing us to the superstar celebrity pastors, and they thinking either you trying to be one of them, you one of them, or you jealous of them. I mean, it's just people just there's no cultural respect or honor generally for this office like it used to be. So it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult,
Especially in a cancel culture.
in a council culture. It's very hard.
People think they got the power to cancel you. They don't. But we still live in that cancel culture where people will run you down just in hopes of getting you canceled by the public.
Yeah, I think it's we all have ups and downs in any situation, but when it comes to pastoring, I've had those moments where I was like, man, is this worth? Is it worth the headache and the stress and the relationship breaks and and I've been in a situation where I felt that I would rather stop pastoring to keep certain relationships than to lose certain relationships and keep doing this. Man, I'm weird, but I had it all set out. I was either going to move to Charlotte, North Carolina and become a deacon of a church, because I'd be a great deacon, I promise you, or a parking lot attendant. I would love that. I would tithe, I would give, I would do what I'm supposed to do, and I wouldn't bother nobody. Then I was thinking about moving to Catalina Island. That's off the coast of Los Angeles. And I was actually going to work in a tiki bar. These are the things that go through my mind. But I always thought that, I know I lost another member, but I thought about these
like
moments.
tiki bars, but go ahead.
But it's a tiki bar like with the little hut, and you get this. Okay, well, it's what I thought. So we being transparent. But I thought about doing that.
All they heard was bar. That's all they needed.
Okay,
like, bar.
Yeah, but get a life. But what I thought was that would be less stressful, than losing people I love, only because when I read the Bible, I hear him more than you.
Right. Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
It's nothing different. I got the same struggles as anybody else. I got the same problems as anybody else. But when I happen to read the Bible, there's a gift that God speaks to me more than the average person.
Yeah. He just chose you to lead.
That was,
and I don't want to be cliche, but what leader in the Bible besides Jesus didn't deal with things, man?
David had issues.
But they still read Psalms.
Paul had issues.
They still read all of the letters, all of the epistles.
We okay.
You understand?
Moses killed.
But like you said earlier, I ain't Jesus. They looking at you like, but you ain't Paul. and you ain't David, you Maceo, and that's their problem.
That is. And then they say my name wrong too.
You just Joseph Maceo.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the next question? I'm sorry. Okay.
I had a situation where someone was sick, and they didn't tell us, so we didn't know, and we found out on Facebook. We found out the City of Joy don't care nothing about nobody. I mean, I'm sick, and da, da, da. Those type of things, I think, respectfully, are for attention. I do. Because if you genuinely wanted the church to pray for you or be there for you or something, let somebody know.
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes you're like, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to see if they say something to me. And then when we don't, or like, have you ever had an attitude with somebody and you walking in church and you don't want to speak, so you go down the other aisle and then you say they didn't speak to you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of setting the stage up for them to be, for you to become the victim. You're setting the stage up for that. So, I don't know. I'm a bad guy. So.
The problem that we have in the body of Christ is people feel as though it's me and it's the church. There's a separation. There's me and there's a church. We're not one. It's I'm a part of y'all, and you better make me happy, or I'm no longer going to be a part of y'all. That's just this individualistic culture that we live in. If we were not that way, if we were more communal, then we would understand that it would be like it's supposed to be a codependency. Where now this sounds cultish, what I'm gonna say, where just about everything going on in your life, the community knows about it and celebrating it. They're to help you through it. Like that is something that is so unique to Western civilization because we're not like that as a culture. It's like I need to have my own individual life and I'll attach myself to what I want to attach to and pull myself away from those things I don't want to. So what happens in that situation, why it's so frustrating, is it's just kind of the evidence that you were never really part of the community like that. When you can criticize it, when you can hurt it, you were never really in the community like you said you were, or like you made people think you were, because hurting them would hurt you. Talking bad about them would reflect negatively. You would feel
they went out from us because they were never of us. They still would have continued with us. I've been accused of when people leave, telling people don't deal with them anymore. I'll say this right now for the public to hear me, and God knows, I've never told nobody not to deal with nobody who left our church. But the problem is, I'm going to be 100% transparent. I have some people who are diehard Burning Bush folks, and they love me, and they love the ministry, and they love God. But at the end of the day, they feel offended if you leave bashing us, if you leave talking crazy. And some people, like my sister, probably won't deal with you ever again because, so I'm her brother or my wife. Maybe she may not, care for the way you did that. And so you got some people ain't, you can't leave every church and just bash the pastor and think everybody's gonna love you. And although they should, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but now you're talking about people who are human. Some people feel some sort of way. It's gonna be people mad at people that dog me more mad than I was at them.
Yes.
You understand? And you can't help that. You have people who follow your ministry and love the church, and they just die hard like that. What we saw the same thing with Peter and Jesus. Jesus wasn't as mad as the arresting officers as Peter was. He sliced the ear off, and Jesus put it back on. So I mean, that shows you right there. You could have some. He went on ahead and cussed the people out and said he wasn't with him after that. But
true,
you have some people that can be so die hard that they ready to slice off everybody's ear if they come against you.
And that's called loyalty. And unfortunately, in our culture right now, loyalty is such a bad word. If I'm loyal to my pastor, I'm a part of a cult. You know what I'm saying? If I'm too loyal, then we worshiping the man and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, this loyalty. I just talked about the story of Ruth yesterday and Naomi, and just the loyalty of Ruth to cling to Naomi, even though Naomi had nothing for her. But Ruth said, I see something in her. I see something in your people, and I know my blessing is attached to you. Now, you can't say that type of stuff today because people feel as though, like I said, you as an individual have to pull yourself by your own bootstrap. You got to create your own success. You can't be too attached to people like that because that's how you're going to be set up and be hurt, manipulated, and abused. Now, are there people out there that hurt, manipulate, and abuse and use people? Yes. And I get that and I understand that. But like the example that we said earlier was like, look, we cannot allow the church to be generally punished for specific offenses to one person, to a couple individuals over here. We got to stop that. Body of Christ, we have to stop that because what we are doing is we're going into these church relationships like, it's like, say y'all didn't know me, or say Maceo knew me and you didn't know me. But Maceo is like, well, look, let me tell you the truth about Glass. One day he is going to steal money out your wallet. The entire time you're in a relationship with me, you're concerned about that. And unfortunately, what happens when in the body of Christ is you have people now where they have this concern at some point in time. This church is going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G for me. And because you were waiting for it, it's going to be 10 times worse than what it really is.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Because you're expecting it.
Creating a narrative for you to be hurt.
Yeah.
And people do it all the time, and we deal with it. Any more questions? Of course not.
Oh yeah, I don't. The Lord doesn't have to reveal.
We know in part.
Yeah, yeah. Some stuff you will get a word of knowledge on, but the majority of the stuff, that's why it's called a personal relationship with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to share everything because when I started, some people felt that I didn't hear God, but I think they were wrong. So I don't think the pastor would get a word from God about every single person because depending on the size of your church, you wouldn't be doing nothing else but thinking about what other people do.
Right.
So I think God does share some things in some moments in some situations, but I don't think he has to share everything with us.
That's good.
Yeah, we mess up this whole lingo. Hear from God, heard God, God's talking. We got that all messed up. You know what I'm saying? We, as a culture, as a church, as a body of Christ, we get that all messed up. There are many ways that God will talk to anybody, any person. There's a special way he's going to talk to pastors because that's a calling. And unfortunately, what happens is we want to determine the way that God will talk to pastors. And we want to determine, or we want to dictate how we feel he should be talking to you or would be talking. If you really called, he's going to talk to you like this. No, wait, whoa. I'm an individual that's different than this man. I'm different than this man. Right. And I have an individual relationship with God. He made me unique for a reason. So he going to talk to me in a particular way. But yeah, I'm not a pastor where I proclaim or profess that God tells me the answer to every little situation.
I've never met that
circumstance.
Everything. Or I've heard people, and I may get in trouble for this, and don't judge me. Maybe it happens with you. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I've never had a full-fledged conversation with God. Like,
yeah, I was just about to ask y'all, like, do he be like, Herky?
And I'd be like, God, what are you doing? He'd be like, nothing. What are you doing? Nothing, sitting here. And then he'd be like, so what are you doing today? Well, I was thinking about going up to the house, and well, what you should do is, I've never had a conversation with God. Like, he always spoke to my heart, and spoke to my spirit, or I feel led by him. I've never had that conversation. I'm not saying nobody can't have it, but I've never had that conversation. It'd be
so detailed.
How bad I want to talk to God like that and have a real conversation with him like that. It'll change my life forever. I start wearing prophet robes and beanies, and I'll be super spiritual, man. You would never, you wouldn't have to worry about me being transparent. I'll be transparent about everything because it wouldn't be nothing there.
If God talks to you like that, you better have the most obedient, submissive soul ever on the planet, because he's not just going to be talking to you about the weather.
Yeah. Like I was driving down the street and I heard the Lord say, Maceo, and I said, yes, God.
Yes.
And he said, turn left. And I said, yes, God. No, I know where I'm going. I'm going to church. Yeah. But I think you have to have a personal relationship with God. So the Lord deals with me, and I can feel God moving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, or I
speaks to your heart.
Yeah, or like I can be reading something and something make me say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nah, I know that's God. You know,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
relationship. But I don't get the. I believe God does audible to people. But sometimes, I'm not that saved. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still.
When you say you're not that
I'm not
same,
that
yeah.
saved yet.
I'm still
But,
tearing.
but honestly, people like you got to pay the price for that.
Man, listen.
You know what kind of consecrated life comes with God coming to
Right.
walk with you in the cool of the day?
Man, I don't want to be in the
you-
grocery store and he prophesied to me about everybody in the store. Let that man buy his eggs, man.
You know-
I don't want to see what he did last week.
Hey, but you know what? You know what's weird though, and I don't know if this means. I don't know if it's happening. When we were smaller, God gave me word of knowledge more
Yeah.
about people's lives, and I guess He was trying to establish me as their leader. And so I used to call people right when they're about to go do something crazy, and I'd be like, "The Lord said, don't do it," and they just start crying like, "They still do it." But I'm saying it would be crazy, man, and they would be like, "Dog," and God used that to establishing
Establishing
me
your
as
voice.
a leader.
Yes.
He would tell me everything, man. But the Bible said, "With much wisdom is much grief." At some point, man, some of the stuff He would show me, I would be disturbed, because He showed me stuff that that what they felt about me sometimes. I really think I was getting revelation on that stuff. I see jealousy in people, and I see stuff, and I'd be like, not just us just saying, when they do stuff, but you can actually see it. And when we first started, He did that a lot. But then as we grew, it kind of like, it's every little now and then now. It ain't
But
all the time.
do you know one area the Lord shared with me on that is, because this kind of was the same way with me, that at a certain level, it's your job now to teach other leaders to have that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Moses didn't run all the millions of them. He had 12.
Right.
And then he dealt with them 12. And then them 12 had to, so I think early on, the Lord would do something like that to establish your voice, number one, establish your leadership. Now it's our job to replicate ourselves and replicate that thing. So now somebody else at my church, one of my leaders and my elders, my pastor, my ministers, if there's something going on, they should be equipped enough at this point to be able to handle it in the way that City of Joy moves, number one. And you should have a relationship with God enough to be able to handle that situation where I don't have to be there every single time.
But He's still going to talk to you more.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
And I ain't even trying to be funny. Listen, it said He made His ways known to Moses and His acts to the children of Israel.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, He talked to Moses a little different than everybody else.
Right.
And He showed.
Right.
And He confirmed with His actions the things He said to Moses.
Yeah.
Ain't that cool? And that's how He moves. That's still there's no expiration date on that. He still deals with it. He make His ways known to us and His works to the people.
That's right.
I ain't saying God can't talk to you. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
But when it comes to our houses,
Yeah.
our personal local assembly, God deals with us with vision and all that. He gives it to us.
The oil was poured on Aaron's head.
And you saw what happened when Miriam then started questioning, is he the only one get the vision?
Come on, man.
In a nutshell, here's what he said. Yes. Go ahead, guys.
No, so I mean, to the point, just real quick, another thing that I've noticed, and this is just the reality of it, y'all. Less people more likely are to be on one accord. And that is such an very, 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 very important aspect and component for the Holy Spirit to be able to come in and move. Is the more people you have, the more likely that there's going to be other things that could be a hindrance. Think about Jesus Christ going into His own hometown. Now, we always talk about, He couldn't do many miracles there, but that's the thing. He was able to do some. In some houses, He did some miracles, but the rest weren't on that. And because they weren't on that, Jesus Christ Himself said, I can't do miracles here.
That's true.
That's good. That's good, man. Any more? We're gonna take one more question. There's a lot. We're gonna take, because I wanted to keep this an hour and 30 minutes, but we already 15 minutes over, 10 minutes over. But it's the initial one. We any more? That's good. No, that's really good. We're gonna talk about that. That's a whole nother podcast. Okay.
Man, it happened to me so much.
I'll address that.
Go for it.
Because I'm the youngest of the crew. So, you see how I threw that in there, and it has nothing to do with anything.
I'm like, all right, let me see.
But no, when I am a workaholic, that is natural by me. I'm a workaholic. I have struggles delegating, right? And reason being is many times when you are needing someone to come through for you or come through for the ministry. And I've learned early on in my ministry when someone would drop the ball, they would be disappointed in themselves to the point that they wouldn't come to church because they think I'm upset. So a lot of times, hey, you gonna do this, you gonna do that, cool. They drop the ball, they don't show up, they mad, they think I'm mad, and now they don't come to church because they think I'm mad because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So a lot of times I got caught in the negative standpoint of doing it myself too much. And you can run yourself ragged like that. But people are people, and we have to give them the same grace. Yeah. We have to have backup plans. And then when we got to a certain level of ministry, this is gonna sound crazy. Sometimes I'll just pay for somebody else to do it outside of the church, so I can hold them more accountable. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a membership. Sometimes it's like, hey, I paid this company, I can dog them because it ain't right.
Right.
But some jobs, when a member do it, it's like, man, you gotta be like, you know, it's a hesitation there. But people will always disappoint you, and people are people. And we got to forgive them the same way that we need forgiveness.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, you know, especially in the building phase, there's the ideal. And people love the ideal. People love the picture. They'll root for you, they'll shout for you, they'll champion with you. But when the reality sets in, or what it takes to make the ideal the reality, that's when you're going to notice a separation of the wheat and the tares.
Right.
That's when you're going to notice, like, wait a minute, I like the vision meeting.
Right.
The vision meeting was exciting. But now we talking about, you know, we showing up and, hey, wait, whoa, there's not many people here, or we have to suffer through this and we have to suffer through that. And not everybody's built for that. So sometimes you have to praise God that certain people are disqualifying themselves or eliminating themselves for work they're not equipped for. Now, that's not an easy lesson when you starting out, because you want everyone.
You need everybody.
You need everybody. And that's I remember having that. I remember people when we first started, just graduated college, just a couple people, and people come, I'm with you, I'm gonna be with you. Oh man, this is where God wants me to be. Oh man, God's calling me. Like, they promising the world, man, to you in that moment. But that's because they like the ideal. They think, ooh, what if we blow up and do this? Ooh, what can this do for my ministry career? What can this do for this? What can this do for that? So it's that all ideal they buy into. But yeah, the practical work of praying and sacrificing and laying your life down and saying no to go out of town here and not taking this job and like laying stuff down to build. Nah, not everybody's equipped for that.
Yeah, sometimes when you start ministry, you have to use people because of their availability versus their ability. At some point, you'll get to the ability stage where you got so many people to pick from, and you use them because they're able to do it. Right. But when you first start ministry, you're going to have to use people because of their availability. But I've seen churches where the pastor said, I do everything. You play the keyboard, you sing, you do everything. You cut the lights on in the morning. You know, everybody has that stage. Only I didn't do most of that because I couldn't. But, you know, I can't sing. I can't do none of that stuff. So, but at some point, the people that don't want to be there, it's cool. Yeah. Do it yourself. Do what you can yourself.
Yes.
Push it. Listen, you got a little couple extra dollars, pay somebody to help you.
Yes.
If you can get somebody $50, $100 to help you, pay them to help you. At some point, God called you to do it. It's going to catch on. It's going to be successful. And then you're going to have to turn people down when it comes to help. And the same ones that told you they was going to help you, that didn't help you then, is going to come knocking in the door like, the Lord said, the timing wasn't right. Now he said it's time. You know, the
Everybody
Lord,
loves
I wanted to come in, but the Lord shut me down and said it just wasn't right then. But now it's right. Yes, now it's right because we're doing something. You see where we're going. You know, I had so many people, nobody wanted to help me build, man. All the game and all the stuff that I missed out on. I would go to ask people stuff. I was trying to get game from all type of pastors, man. I was going to reaching out to people and say, hey, man, how do you do this? How do you do it? Glass, you came and you helped me and gave me the game on a lot of stuff. But before you remember, I told you that when I met you, a lot of people didn't tell me anything. They didn't help me do nothing. But as soon as they saw a little success on the ministry, inboxes, the Lord said we need to break bread. We need to do this. The Lord of the Rings said that because I don't think we need to break bread no more because you wasn't there for me when I was reaching out to you trying to get your help. You know, so just do it yourself now. Do it yourself. Pay a couple people to do it. Forget the people who said they would be there for you, but always remember. I ain't gonna say forget them. Remember them that said they're gonna do this for you. Remember them because they're gonna come back.
And you know, I think too, you got to come to the realization that people don't owe you nothing.
Right.
That's
They don't
good.
owe you nothing.
That's good.
You know, and the Lord blessed us early to have some really solid people who were supportive of me
Mhm.
and the ministry. But at the same time, I think it was you when I first started. You told me you probably don't remember because you said it a different way now. But there's going to be a season when we could go away from picking people who are available to picking people who are anointed for it. And I think that was important for me to understand because when I first started, I just need help. I need anybody. But I've learned in my time of building, I put people in the wrong spots many times. You know what I mean?
We all do that.
Yeah. So when I put you in the wrong place, not only is it frustrating for me, it's frustrating for you. We're not getting the production we need out of you. But if I could put you in your right anointed space, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't care what you say, everybody can sing in their chair in the sanctuary,
Right.
but everybody don't need no microphone. And we can't be mad to say that, you know.
Right.
Everybody can't be an usher because you have 24-hour mean face. You know, that's not gonna work. You ask somebody for their gum and they think you're gonna kill them. You know, no. So we got to be able to, when we're building and getting culture, you're building your culture of your ministry. What is your culture about? What does your ministry stand for? While you're building that, you want to put people in the right place that they're anointed to be in.
That's good. That's good. All right, we're gonna take one more and we closing. We're gonna take one more, and I'm gonna pick those 3 people off of YouTube because I saw what I said that we had a drop. I'm gonna pick those people off of YouTube. I'm just gonna randomly pick them. I ain't saying who put it up first. I'm just gonna randomly pick them. You'll have it as soon as we end this broadcast in the next 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. You'll have it in your Cash App in the next 15 minutes, so you'll know it's you. If you don't get a Cash App in 15 minutes, it wasn't you. I'll announce who it was on my page or something. Or they can announce who it wasn't shared. I'm just gonna pick random 3 people and give you $50. I'm gonna do it every podcast, but right now, go ahead. Last question. He has a wife that's a doctor.
I get a lot of free counseling.
He's great at. Go ahead.
I get a lot of free counseling. So mental health is that's the buzz these days, and I'm okay with that. I really encourage people to get counseling, but make sure it's real counseling. What people have to understand is the difference between mental health and spiritual formation, and a lot of Christians are lacking spiritual formation, and a lot of the mental health issues would be dealt with better if we had spiritual formation. So, what's spiritual formation? Activities that formulate your mind to operate a certain way. Like when we wake up, when we were born in this country, the first thing they do is they make you go to school all day, take a lunch break in between, because that was formulating the whole early philosophy is they're formulating us to be productive American citizens, where we go to work all day, have lunch in the middle of the day, and don't complain. Now, what we don't do that anymore spiritually, to where, you know what, if I have a problem, this is what I do. I fast. You know what? When certain situations hit me, they don't hit me as hard because I spend a lot of time in meditation and my spirit as well. So I do believe in mental health, but as Christians, we also have to pay attention to spiritual formation and engage in activities consistently that's going to formulate us to be more like Christ. Because at the end of the day, we're only in church a couple hours a week, but we're overwhelmed by the darkness of the world for the rest of the week. So mental health is going to do well. And I say get counseling. When I went through what I went through in 2020, I got counseling. Like everybody said it, you need some counseling. I met this most amazing counselor who became a mentor to me, and I'm all for that. But I understand that's only part of what's necessary for me to be what God wants me to be. All right, go ahead. Man.
Yeah, I agree. Mental health is very important, especially in leadership positions, especially with pastors. And even, I believe that every believer needs Jesus, a couch, sometimes pills, and a praise. So I think you need all of them. For me, I think mental health is important because what I don't want to do is make the church make me go crazy. I don't want to do that. So I actually have counseling. I think exercising and trying to stay more physically fit is helpful. I think having more communication about our feelings is something that helps your mental health, because I know some people don't like to hear how we feel, but when you tell somebody what's going on with you, I think it's a release.
Mm-hmm.
And prayer is good. And of course, we love the Lord, but we go through stuff that hit us in so many areas that we just need somebody to talk to.
Right.
And if you don't have somebody in your life that you can say anything to, I think you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about your spouse. I'm not talking about, I think you need somebody that you can bounce stuff off of. And that person,
Who we gonna talk to when our wives beat us up? We gotta
I
tell
didn't say
somebody
that.
beating us up.
But I'm saying, like, I think you need somebody to talk to where if you are talking crazy, they can call you on it.
Yeah.
You need somebody to be like, hold on, man.
Yeah.
That sound a little, and I think those things will help. But we all struggle mentally, and we have waves, ups and downs in mental health. But I think it's important that we stay focused on that.
Yeah. Besides us losing 13 people, each of us losing 13 members tonight, platforms like this, where we can vent.
Yeah.
It's what you said. But I'm gonna keep it on. Since we've been transparent, let me be 100% transparent. Best way to deal with mental health is what I do. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I get down and dirty and get before the Lord, and I say, Lord, touch my mind.
Period.
I pray, and I say, Lord, touch my mind. Don't always work for me that day, but at some point He will lighten the load for me. But I just pray, man. I'm old school. I say, Lord, help my mind, because sometimes if you have people you could talk to, but even sometimes, man, there's some stuff I can't share with y'all. You understand what I'm saying? That I'm going through. Not that y'all judge me, because I know y'all won't, but still, some things are hard to even share with the dudes who probably going through the same thing.
Right.
Sometimes I really just gotta say, Lord, touch my mind, because listen, if we be 100% honest, some of my thoughts
Be crazy.
are not right.
Yeah.
and here's what helped me: the thought ain't the sin. The enemy can put stuff in your head.
Yeah.
The action is sin, but man, some of my thoughts, I really do be like the stuff they be saying about me. My thoughts be like, just be the gangster. Just be the gangster.
Don't say it.
I ain't gonna say that crazy. Sometimes my thoughts be like, just be the gangster that they say you are. Just go ahead and handle that like they say you would handle it. My mind go nuts, and I'll never act on this stuff.
Right.
Let's just be honest. Our minds do some crazy stuff.
Mine's playing tricks on me.
Our minds. So sometimes you want to respond a certain way. So I just pray. I ask God to touch my mind quite a bit. I could be anywhere. Like, God, touch my mind.
That's unfortunate, though. I mean, just so y'all keep in mind that this is general conversation for pastors. That's good. But my counsel was saying how being a pastor is growing to become one of the most hazardous occupations
That's
to
crazy.
have because of the mental strain. We noticed all these pastors over the last few years who were committing suicide. That's not because,
but maybe the revelation in that is in what you said.
What's that?
Occupation.
Yeah, that's real.
Versus calling.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? See, hirelings probably struggle the most. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason why they get the positions is because they put a resume in for the position. But when you're a founder, like you are, and when you build it, you understand that you build from a calling standpoint. You were called to build it. Yeah. When we look at everything in the Bible, they were called to do these things for God. They received a calling, an unction from God. When we did what we did, starting these churches and everything, even though I started my church for my mom, it was still an unction from God. I didn't know it was for me. He did, and she did eventually. But I thought I was building a church for my mom. But I still felt the unction to do it. It wasn't like I wanted to just have a church just to have a church. And when I lost my mom, and when she told me, God said, "You're the leader of this church," that was I was ready for it, but I wasn't ready for it. I was just like, "What do you mean?" I mean, I see the hard time you having with the 20 people. Why would I try to take this over?
Yeah.
I see what you're struggling with.
Yeah.
It ain't easy, but it's a calling.
It's a calling.
If it was just my occupation, I would have been in my 2 weeks notice.
There's no function without the unction.
But see what happens is, and this is another issue, just another podcast for another day. For another day.
We're already almost 2 hours in. We ain't doing this ever again, y'all. This podcast will only go an hour, no more than an hour and 15 minutes. Go ahead.
No, the only point I was going to say is so many pastors wrap so much of their identity into the calling, into the position, that when things don't go well, when things go bad, that makes me feel like I am bad.
That's not true.
That makes me feel like
Yeah.
I have no more life. This is it. This is all God could do with me. Especially when you're someone like me doing it over 20 years. What else am I going to like? I can go find something to do, but it's like resume. What you been doing for the last 20 years?
Right.
Preaching.
Preaching the gospel.
I don't feel like leaving my church. Like when the times I didn't feel appreciated, I feel like leaving my church and putting in an application somewhere else. And for a church that already well established, been there
Right.
145 years, and can,
Right.
I
Young
don't feel like
blood.
man, I'm about to go put my application in somewhere, but I didn't because it's a calling. So, all right. So, any last word? Any last word, man? Thank y'all for watching our first Beyond the Platform podcast. I thank you for my buddies hanging out with me tonight at the apartment, man. Just talking some mess. Now we about to get off and talk about what we didn't talk about. But I'm excited, man, just for this opportunity to sit with y'all and just give y'all. So I hope we were able to help somebody. I hope that what you heard tonight, at least we were able to give you some perspective on what we deal with. We were silly and joking and a lot of this stuff, and I hope we didn't offend anybody. If we did, you don't have to ever watch the podcast again. This could be your last time watching it, but we're here to air out what many don't want to talk about. So thank you again to everybody who watched. Show us a like, subscribe, and share. We will be on 2 weeks from now on Tuesday. I'll get a date and a promo out to you. But thank you for everybody who watched. I hope, like again, we were able to do whatever, man. Pray for us as we
Please
pray
pray
for
for us.
y'all.
I need prayer.
We need a lot of prayer.
Thank you again. Y'all got any last any 10 seconds? Anything?
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate you for calling us here. Thank you very much. I think this is needed, and I look forward to what the Lord is going to do. And all those 13 people who leave in my church, just come back the week after next.
Yeah.
Just
One
take
week
1
off.
week off.
I'm sorry for getting y'all. Go ahead, Glass.
Likewise, man. You're always in this city. You're always stepping out on faith and trailblazing. And I wish you nothing but amazing success with this podcast. And for everyone out there, look, all this stuff can be fixed real simply. You ain't got to become the person that knows all the scripture. You don't have to be the person that fast 3-4 times a week to fix these problems in the church. It really comes down to one thing: love. Like, can we just love each other? Stop gossiping. Stop talking trash behind you people's backs. Can we stop hating on God's bride? Let's just be about love, and then you will see that the tone of this conversation is completely different.
Very good, sir.
It's pressure. It's pressure to be on a platform, and I suggest if you want the platform, you have to be able to deal with the pressure that comes with it. This ain't easy, y'all, and I wish you guys could try sometimes to consider us. We have to deal with a lot.
Yeah.
I don't. If you have 20 members, you're dealing with a lot. If you're in the house, if you're in a church that have 20 members, you're probably dealing with 200 personalities in those 20 members.
Yeah.
But we have to deal. And a lot of times, there's no real blueprint on how to pastor. Everybody got a different house. So, you gotta learn how to work with whatever God is giving you. So thank you again. And I hope that we can continue to be a blessing. I hope we were a blessing. We continue to be a blessing to y'all. I'll pick those random people, but again, go to YouTube, Beyond the Platform podcast, like, subscribe, and share. This is the beginning of a movement, and I'm excited about what God is doing. So thank you again. Y'all be blessed.
Good night.